Hey, before I ask you about the Phil Marks out thing,
Sure.
I wanted to. So Saturday night, you're doing your live show, and I'm watching chat, and I'm watching the hockey game, and I'm seeing Collision's gone. What happened to Collision? And like you're watching it, but you're still doing your thing, and I'm like watching the chat going, I think Collision stopped 30 minutes early, but you actually saw what happened. What happened? Do we know?
Well, they're just in the middle of the show. Well, not the middle, I guess, like an hour, the middle of the second hour, and then at the top of the hour, just out of nowhere. And this isn't like how it happened was I was taken off. Like I just thought it went to a commercial break, and I was seeing like the ad
Right.
for like a movie, but no, it just literally went to the intro. Like you know the title graphics where it's like DC, Warner Brothers and shit, you know? It just went to that thing for Black Adam and then Black Adam just started playing. Like just automatically. It just went to the movie and it started playing. So it was pretty hilarious. Yeah, it's just funny too to see people like jump on Will Ospreay's ass where they're like, "Oh, do you guys do television transmissions for taped shows?" Like that was a taped show too. So how do they fuck that?
Right.
It wasn't even like a live. It was a fucking taped show. So
That's what I couldn't figure out. I was out to dinner with it was my mom's birthday, and so my wife and I were out to dinner, and we were like 40 minutes away, and I was driving. So I got home, and it was funny because I put PWT on. And I was checking my phone for Twitter. I'm like, what are all these notifications? What's going on? And I had to try to like piece it together of what happened. And I was like, wasn't it a taped show? Wasn't it a taped show? Like, wait a minute, how did that? Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. And then
no,
and Dave posted today, we're still trying to figure out what happened with that last 30 minutes. Like, Dave, it's over. It's like
I know. Yeah, it's like
let it go, buddy. Let it go.
yeah, dude. So that was pretty crazy. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna have updates for all of that. I go live. When's my next live show? Tomorrow night.
No.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably talk about that because it's so funny and just whatever the updates are. And also when they tweeted out like, "Oh, the West Coast still has the feed," they
And
didn't.
it didn't.
And it didn't.
Yeah, West Coast got knocked out as well. So I mean, it's pretty embarrassing. And here's the thing: like, I'm not one of these guys where it's like fucking kick people while they're down or kick them while they're down. It's easy to pile on, whatever. But of course, I'm gonna make fun of this. And it's like, how many times has WWE been interrupted in the middle of a promo for a fucking Taco Bell commercial? Or has someone crashed into the barricade, then the feed gets knocked out, like Brody King that one time, or the fucking show just gets cut off for Black Adam. Like, how many times does that happen in WWE's history? Let alone this happens like all the time. I feel like
they had
every
the NBA audio come in once too. I remember all of a sudden the audio for a minute and a half was the NBA game. Like, yeah, they yeah. And that's not a Turner issue as far as they want to blame Turner, but like, sorry guys, it's only happening on one show as far as I know.
But I only know that happened once. I think, there was a WCW pay-per-view where the power went out.
yeah.
No,
So,
the WWF pay-per-view is the one with Austin and
that was
Savio Vega had the strap match, and that was because of the weather. Like that was in South Carolina, I think.
Yeah, that's like lights going out, bro. This
right?
is
Yeah.
show that was sent in, and they fucking and the guy like someone just programmed it to start Black Adam to start half hour.
Yeah, that's the best part is that it's the Rock's movie.
Fuck out of there for the weekend or something. Like, how does that even happen? Such a botch.
Said it wrong.
Yeah, if I had to guess, they just programmed it. It was just a mistake, and someone programmed it for half hour earlier than it was supposed to come on. But I just don't know how that happens on a taped show. I just really don't.
It's so bad. No, George, what I think you're thinking of is that WCW pay-per-view that somehow cut off in that last half hour. I think. Yeah, and it was DDP and Goldberg, I think it was. I know DDP was it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you were thinking of. I think it was almost in the same year, or like within the same time frame too, of those two events. But yeah, like this was something that, and it was so funny for me trying to piece it together and seeing random videos. I'm like, no, they just cut off 90 minutes into the 2-hour show. I mean, let's be real though. They said Wheeler Yuta was in the main event. I mean, WBD was probably just like, no, we can't have him in the main event. Pass.
Yeah. Phil, I'm curious of one thing real quick before I let Jake ask another question because I'm kind of hogging everything here.
You've asked like 2 questions I had written down. You're good,
Okay,
George.
good.
You're great.
The Dave Meltzer flute thing. What's the evolution of that? Like, how'd that start? Because I don't remember. I don't
Basically,
remember.
what happened was with the Dave Meltzer flute thing is, so I used to just be like, it's time for Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week, and I would just do a dumb moment of the week.
Right,
And
I
then,
remember that.
yeah, and then the flute came from like, behind the scenes. I'm like, I need a sound for this. I need a sound for this. I need a sound for this. What sound could it be? And I just heard that Harry Potter fail flute, and I went, that's fucking perfect. Like it's just got to be something that lets you know that this dude is whatever he's doing. It's about to be an epic fail.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I've heard other ones too where they have like the flute with like, the Titanic song or other things to go into it, but the Harry Potter one works so perfectly for him.
Yeah.
I know our good friend 626 is working on a Dave Meltzer omnibus.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I hope he is working on it. Like he said he would do it, and he's like, it's going to take a long ass time. And
Right.
Yes, it will.
I was like, that's cool, brother, but I hope he does it. That would be amazing. He's come through. I mean, he made a bunch of signs on PWT for.
Yeah, he emailed me the PDF of the one that he made for the one that got taken away because I'm going to the show on June 9th. I'm not sure if I can physically make the sign because I have the artistic ability to draw like stick figures, but yeah, he sent me that. That's good stuff.
What show are you going to?
Monday Night Raw on June 9th. It's in Phoenix, so it's like a mile away from me. It's the same one I went to, same arena where Tippy cashed in.
So he sent you a PWT sign?
No, he sent me the flutes PDF that he made for Dave.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it on TV, man. Let's get the flute.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get on the hard cam side because my buddy who I usually go with can't go, so I'm going solo, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get somewhere on the hard cam sign and just hold that up for you. That's my goal.
You gotta absolutely do that, man. That'd be fucking hilarious.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So, is there a comparison between the wrestling fans and the comic book sector that you started because you started Film Arcs Out, which is obviously a totally different project. So, is there a similarity between the two groups, or are they different, or how's it? I don't know anything about that.
They're largely different, like when it comes to talking about movies and stuff. But no, they're very much the same. Like especially the hardcore. So when it comes to pro wrestling, I've always said it is just real life comic books come to life. That's why it works well. It's real life superheroes doing extraordinary things with stories, reason behind why they do the things they do. Unless you're in AEW, then you just do stuff. And there's always got to be proper motive, and there's always a debate who beats who. And if it's 2 versus 2, will it the Avengers fight Galactus? Will it Fantastic Four fights Galactus? But if it's the Fantastic Four without Reed Richards and then they fight Galactus, there's all these different factors, right? There's all these different ways to look at it and debate who's stronger, and the storylines are evergreen. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean by that? They're evergreen.
Yeah.
Like they don't end. So pro wrestling just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
And one thing flows into the next, and you can make callbacks to other things and tie into some Easter egg that Yeah, it's perfect.
Everything's canon. Same with comic
yes.
books. Everything's canon unless you reboot the canon. Now the one trick with pro wrestling is that it's centered around a sport, and you can't really redo canon. The most you can do is say, well, in that company, that's their canon, and over here, this is our canon. That's really the most you can get away with. But yeah, so I would say it's very much the same. Absolutely.
Right. The details are different, but at the core, they're the same fan space. That makes sense.
And people want story. People want good storylines. And pro wrestling is the comic books of, like, think about it. Comic books is like the pro wrestling of literature. It's like, oh, you're an adult, you need pictures with those words and the fucking, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, yeah, cool. It's the same with pro wrestling. Oh, you're an adult and you like the fake fighting? That's on the, that's like, well, you'll watch.
They automatically look down on it no matter what, even if it is a a wonderfully told story. They don't care because of the medium it's in, 100%.
You'll watch like half midget Tom Cruise fight 14 guys and go, oh, that's real. Him in his platform shoes. You know, like no, it's not real, dude. So it's the same thing, right? And comic books is sort of the pro wrestling of literature, the way pro wrestling's sort of like the comic books of entertainment. I hope that makes sense to those of you listening.
No, that's a really good analogy. That's almost a perfect analogy, especially for what it was when we were all growing up too, where it was really looked down upon. It still is to a point these days, obviously, but you kind of have to take, especially with comic books and the Marvel movies and making as much as they have to get respect on that level.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your impetus in starting the Phil Marks Out channel then? Just because I know when I'm in chat, sometimes you make references that I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Yeah,
so I'm assuming that's probably why.
Well, I work like I'm passionate about that stuff. Like I've worked in the space. I've worked around like comic artists and some actors and writers and stuff like that. And so it's just another passion of mine. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I had other YouTube channels and they were more focused on that sort of shit, but I just wasn't active and like fully passionate about it. At the end of the day, pro wrestling is like my favorite fucking thing, you know, period.
Right.
Watch. So that's always going to be like first and foremost, but this is a way for me to expand and talk about and like review movies. Like I love movies. I like, I have other interests besides, pro wrestling, and also my guy Suplex, I don't know if you guys know Suplex. Okay.
I remember your pod with him.
Yeah, so Suplex is a guy who he's like one of the OGs, man. I've been watching him since for like 10 years, maybe 10 plus years on YouTube. I don't even know if he used to be called Suplex, but I knew him since like back when. Not know him, but as a content creator, I was a fan of this guy.
Right.
And early on, like I'm talking, I got 300 subscribers. And Suplex, and shout out Wrestling Soup too, like fucking Joe Numbers was like one of the earliest people to like comment on my videos and show them. I'm not even joking. But like before I had any following at all. But also Suplex is one of them, and he pops into the lives and he'll say this or that. And he's like, "What's up, my guy? He's always been cool to me. Give me a follow, come on the podcast, all that sort of thing." And he told me, he just gave me some sound advice, and he was like, you should do this other thing too if that's what you're into. Type shit. I'm not going to get into what everything he said, but shout out to
cool.
A lot of people wouldn't, he's very much he's not even that into wrestling that much anymore, which is crazy, but he's very much a lot of people maybe wouldn't think that we'd align, me and that guy, as far as like how we view wrestling and stuff, but we do actually in a lot of ways. So he's good shit, and shout out Suplex. He really just motivated me to be like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Why not?
Hey, I mean, and you paid it forward. You motivated me to do this. There's no way I would have if you didn't bring me on and got to give me that extra help and motivation and that kick in the button that, like you could do this and help me give me that, onus to do this. And look at us now. We're having fun with it. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Something I always wanted to do, just never had I'll admit it, never had the stones to take that chance, but having the right people to kind of push you and guide you and be there to give you a little help if you need it really does go a long way.
No, you're right, man. I try to inspire as many, I try to help or just inspire people to just do shit that they want to fucking do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So like anybody, well, whatever, I don't even talk about it, but I stream with a lot of people. I try and find
you brought people on your show before that either are just getting started or don't have as big of a following, or have a different mindset.
It's not just about like, oh, you got more subs than me. Can you come on do for me type shit? It's not about that. It's like, I like to also be like, I want to have this person on my show because I think they have a good, even if I don't agree with everything, maybe their take, they're at least like covering this other thing that maybe I don't have time to cover that fucking, I think they're good at it. And I want to try and give them a platform or a voice too, I look at things sometimes, I'm not trying to be like, Oh,
No, so I won't ask who your favorite guest is. I won't ask who your favorite guest is, but who's your most interesting guest you think you've had on?
you can ask that.
Okay, who's your favorite?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite, to be perfectly honest.
See, that's why I didn't ask it.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
tough
don't.
question.
Like,
That's a really good guess.
who's my favorite person to just like fucking joke and roast and just talk shit and hang with is for surely Husey and Numbers and Awful
Yeah.
are all right, like neck and neck and neck. You know, as far as like my favorite people to Husey's probably like me and him just talk like all the time. So he's probably overall, I'd say I could just definitively probably give him the top slot as like that's my guy. Husey's my fucking guy, you know? Who's like what did you say? Who's the most interesting guest?
Yeah. Like the one where you sat down afterward and said, "Wow, I learned a lot there. Or, I didn't know that from him."
That's, yeah,
whatever.
the unexpected, yeah.
Matt Morgan for sure. Was very interesting.
That was obviously the one we could understand what he was saying, right?
Yeah,
On
there was
the
one.
but not recalled in. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh yeah, when he called in, he's at like he called for people listening who don't know. I'm doing a live show, PWT live show, and fucking Matt Morgan's like, yeah, I'm gonna come in, bro. I'm gonna come in, right? I'm like, okay, I appreciate you. He's at like some political conference or something.
It's like a PTA with like the kids and parent council.
Oh, yeah,
things.
PTA,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I don't know. The man's a politician and shit. Who knows? He's at some like. He's somewhere. He's at some venue. He runs out to his car, like in the parking lot. He phones, and he sounds like he's calling in from like underwater, dude. It's like, my God, it was so funny, dude. And yeah, shout out Matt Morgan. He's interesting just because how it happened. I'd say that was the most interesting because like the first time I linked with him, he literally is like, I'll pop in right now. And I was like, are you fucking serious? He's like, yeah. And I was live and I was so new. Like I was so new to streaming and everything. And I had Awful with me. And yeah, I think we just had a really great interview. I had another podcast that was really riveting, but then I think it all turned out to be bullshit. So I'm not even going to talk about that one. But yeah, I would say up and yeah, I think you guys know. I think you guys know which one I'm talking about. But there was one there that was really interesting, and then it just, as time went on, about a year goes on or whatever, and it's like, well, I think that was all bullshit. But
yeah, nothing that was talked about there actually came through, huh?
And you got to look out for that too, and you got to own it too, and that's why immediately I go on my show and I'm like, yeah, I think that guy was full of shit. You know, you got to do it, man. You got to own it. When you're like, that might have been.
No, that's one of the things I've always respected about you. You're like, you're willing to admit that. Like you joke around and always be like, yeah, I never miss. But if you do, you're open. Like, hey, that wrong? It's fine.
Right. The joke is I don't miss. You know, that's
there it is. That's
right? The cockiness, the arrogance. That is the joke. Oh, Triple H.
It's fun.
That's the joke. That's the bit. Like, I don't like. You know, I know wrestlers definitely do hear it and shit. I'm not saying Tony Khan listens, though. If I say that, I'm kidding, right? Like it's fucking.
Yeah. Or are you?
Part of the gimmick, yeah, part of the persona. Yeah. Or am I? I'm the mole.
I do always find it funny, though, when I come in and look on Twitter and see that there was a ton of people that didn't get the joke, and you have to be like, guys, I was kidding, guys. There was a joke. You feel like I have to explain myself? All right, fine.
Dude, that one time I got a DM from Phil going, someone, I won't say who, thinks I'm the mole. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, multiple people have thought I was the mole.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all right. Brock thinks I'm Jake Hager, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess. Brock's a fucking...
Right.
He's okay. It's okay for that. For him to fuck up like that. But to think I have time to do this and be the mole, you must be out your goddamn mind.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I don't think people realize how much time this all takes.
Exactly.